Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm going to do a quick review of Benzinga options alerts. And so this has been coming up on my feed on Facebook for a while now, where it's just saying check these out, they're low cost options alerts. And then some people on Facebook, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go and check out the Facebook group if you're not already in it. We're saying, why don't you check out Benzinga options? So I thought I'd just purchase like the lowest priced package from them and write a quick review on it. And here's some of my thoughts so far. And so it's I think it cost me $97 for the year. I think that's reduced from $194, and that's a decent price. I mean, it's pretty much, even if you're taking one contract on most alerts, you'll make that back pretty quickly. So it's a subscription-based service. It basically, I think a year is the only one you can do. So you can sign up for a year, and it's interesting. So let's get into it a little bit. I put an example in this overall review, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and check it out. If you keep listening until the end of this video, I'm going to give a suggestion for a better service, which costs about the same, but in my opinion is way better. So anyway, the guy behind this is a guy called Nick Chahine. I think that's how you say it. I'll see if I can find him. This guy right here. And so he has a decent list of credentials. I mean, he's the head of research at Benzinga. Obviously, Benzinga is a powerhouse in the industry. And so he has more than 11 years of experience as a professional trader. And so he appears on all the big major news networks like Forbes, CNBC, all this stuff. And so this is where things get a little bit confusing. So in the ads for this particular service, they're saying they have a 90% win rate, which is extraordinarily high for the buy side of things. But then he talks about having a 90% success rate on credit spreads, which is much more realistic. And so this is where there's some ambiguity between the advertising where I signed up and the actual success rate of 90%. So it's very difficult to get 90% success rate on the buy side. And so that was a little odd, I have to admit. He seems to have a lot of good credentials though, so started on hedge fund. And looking at, he's an electrical engineering background, which is cool. I have a physics background, so kind of similar. And so yeah, so that's the main guy, Nick Chahine. I think that's how you say it. I'm really not sure. Looks like that, Chahine. And so if we look at the dashboard, I was a little disappointed in this service so far. So this is it. You can see all the other gurus in Benzinga. And because I've only paid the lowest fee possible here, the $97, most of the stuff is locked up. So the enhanced trades, the ultimate trades, and any chat and everything. So really on this low tier service, you're only getting what they're calling the starter trades. So let me show you a little bit about what those are. So they come out every 2 weeks. So around the start of October, and then 2 weeks before that, September 15th. So this is kind of odd. So they bill this as having like this really in-depth research to it. The problem is when I looked at some of the different trades, they were just like really kind of a joke. So let me show you some of them. I'll go back to VXX, which was, let's see here. So this was sent out August 19th, and if you hit view post, so this was the original trade alert, and basically just says, we all agree that the rebound from the bottom has been too strong. It's seen plus 20% without breaks. The S&P is coming into failing zones from April, May. It should find resistance here. To trade this idea, I want to buy calls in fear without risking too much. So buy to open VXX, September 16, 21 calls. It's a pretty simple breakdown. I mean, that's not an in-depth analysis by any stretch of the imagination. And sure, he has basically put the, you know, what options to buy and the stop loss. So pretty much the most of the information, but it's not exactly super like up to date. Like, it's kind of weird. And so they do put updates though, so a few days later, put trade update. I'm not happy with this way the ticker is behaving. Oh, even though we nailed the entry, calls are not delivering. And then he took a minus 26% loss on it. So I guess that's enough to trade with. I'm just not impressed with the fact that it's basically really basic information, like nothing really that in depth. Like I don't know what his strategy is here. It just says he thinks it's going to bounce. Sure. So let's have a look at another one. Let's look at Penn long call. So this is a interesting thing here. Even though it's an option service, a lot of them just start with saying trade type, go long shares. So that's kind of weird. And so I think that's because of the timing. So then they talk about buying the calls. But really, again, not really any sort of due diligence, just I need a rally. It's a little bit odd. So a little bit of information there, but these are not like super outlined. You're not going to learn a strategy. Like it's really not clear what he's actually doing here in terms of like why he's buying stuff. So there's a tiny amount of education, but it's so basic it's a joke. It says what is an option spread. You click on that and you get like a 1-minute video. Same with how to profit from a credit put spread, same idea. And that's the extent of the education. Now, I'm not saying this is bad. It's only $97 for a year, so I can't really expect a lot for it. But there are better options out there at that price point. So let me have a quick look at those. I think I've covered most of what I wanted to say about the alerts. So you only get one alert every 2 weeks. They do update. They send to your phone and the email and stuff, which is pretty good. The only thing that's bothering me a little bit is they are sending me a lot of emails and updates. I think I can opt out of those, but it's just like a whole bunch on tickers. So just like non-stop like updates on Tesla and stuff that hasn't even been alerted in terms of like a buy or a sell. Anyway, I wanted to show you a better trade service in my opinion. So this one is $97. So a similar price to the options trades by Nick. But it's run by Jeff Bishop at Raging Bull, and the track record is so much better. It's every Monday, so it's once a week on the dot, like every Monday. And the track record is so much better from what I can see. He even does a live call where he goes through all the different like thought processes behind the market and the particular trade. And he does that at 11 Eastern time on a Monday. So for me, this is a far better service. I get much more value from this than I could get from the this service at Benzinga. So maybe Benzinga's good, but for me it's not worth the money. I think something like Bullseye Trades, and I'll leave a link to go and check out the full track record for Bullseye Trades in the description, has proven to be a lot more effective for me. And so yeah, so because it's a small service, there's really not much more to say about that. I think it's not really worth it to me. I'd be surprised if anybody found it really worth it. I mean, if we look at ARC here. So again, like it's supposed to be an option service, so why is the trade type long shares? And so this one actually worked. The shares went up 5.6% overnight, but again, it's supposed to be an options trading service, so it doesn't really make any sense that they're trading shares. So it's kind of weird. So this one at least has a little bit more information with a chart. And a little bit more. But again, there's no real information about what strategy this guy's actually trading. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I don't really recommend Benzinga Options by Nick Chahine. And so I'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.